One, two, testing one, two, three. Hello, hello, hello. It looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. Who's here? David is here first. We got John. We got Nomadic Blue. Shannon's here. Laurent from France. Sue, hello. Windsorpedia from Nova Scotia, Canada. Hitcham is here. Awesome. Looks like we are working. If you can give me a thumbs up in the comments, let me know where you're watching from. That would be wonderful. Jed Green is here. Hello to you. Wonderful. So it's 3 p.m. UK time. It's not 3 p.m. It's 4 p.m. UK time. I'm an hour out. It's it's been raining and then sunny and then raining and then sunny. Weather updates here. Who else we got? Andrea from Switzerland, Lucy from France. Valentina from Italy, Brit from Italy. Sherry is here. Hello to you. Janice from Israel. Funny Figs from Oklahoma. Okay. And same weather in France as Lauren. We've got Kamal from Cairo in Egypt. And Eleanor in Denver. And Michelle from Costa Rica. Incredible. Jeffrey in Salem, Oregon. We got Poland in the house, France, Switzerland. Wow, wonderful. We got a full house. We're all around the world, which is incredible. Sarah from the UK as well. Great. So without further ado, that's wonderful to see so many people here. I'm going to pull up my slides here in a second and we'll get started. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a live stream all about coming up with better original ideas. I can see Rocky from Edgeware, Jay from Illinois, Julie from South Dakota, Black Pantone from Peru. Cool. And Donatas is here. Deepak is here from India. Wonderful. Better original ideas is what we're going to talk about today. If for any reason this live stream disappears and I disappear or my mic goes out or something, just hang in there. I'll refresh. I've got a new computer, had a few technical issues, but hopefully we'll be okay here today. If this is your first time joining me for a live session, then here's the rules. Just have fun and enjoy yourself. Kick back and relax. But please comment and ask questions. I have the live chat open here on my screen. I can see your questions and comments come in. Don't worry about interrupting me. I will leave plenty of time for questions at the end as well. But if you want to just ask a question as I'm going, if I go too fast, if you miss something, just go ahead and ask it in the comments. I'm pretty well rehearsed, not well rehearsed, pretty well seasoned to taking comments as we go now. So I'm going to do a little bit of, I've got my iPad here today. I'm going to share some stuff on there. And Hitcham says, please save the live for us after that. Yeah, this is being recorded. You'll be able to watch it afterwards. Don't worry. I'll send the replay link as well and everything. So should we get started? I think that's most of the housekeeping underway. We'll go probably maximum an hour here today. We won't go over that. I'll try and keep it a fair bit under that so that we can have plenty of time for questions and answers, and I can help you with various bits and bobs as we go. Windsorpedia says, I'm finally enjoying my new MacBook after spending a week transferring all my old files. Yeah, I know what that feels like. It's not fun, is it? Yeah, I've actually got one of the new Mac Minis. That's what I'm running on now, and it's great, but I keep forgetting things that I've not transferred over. So I keep turning it on and then trying to do something and then realizing I haven't installed things yet. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. This should be fine. So if it's your first time joining me, my name's Michael Essick. I'm a t-shirt designer. I've actually been selling t-shirts online for about 10 years. Started with sites like Redbubble and Merch by Amazon, TeePublic, TeeFury, Threadless. Also have my designs licensed and sold in some brick and mortar stores like Hot Topic and Spencer's and Sainsbury's here in the UK. We've got calendars and greetings cards, a couple of different brands that we sell under. And this has grown from a side hustle into a full-time business, 6-figure a year business just from my art and my designs. And no one is more surprised about that than me, because I am not the world's best designer. I'm not a incredible illustrator. I'm not actually that good at marketing. I don't do much paid advertising or anything like that. Never really had much success there. I've had a bit of success just in kind of general social media marketing. I've had some viral hits, some breakout hits on platforms like Reddit and Twitter and things like that that have helped make sales. But generally, and the reason that I'm doing this live session is I think most of my sales, most of the success I've had comes from the strength of my ideas. So it's not about my design abilities. It's not really about my marketing abilities. It's really about the strength of the ideas. And I believe that if you can have better ideas, if you can improve your ideas, then that will have a real um, incredible impact on your sales, and it's a greater impact than your design skills will have or anything like that. So that's just kind of setting the scene a little bit. In terms of the kind of designs I create, my bread and butter is like funny puns, cute animals, jokes, very much the kind of funny t-shirt kind of space. So these are some examples of the kind of designs I create. Created a few designs recently here for Printful. Um, these are some designs I put together for them. They wanted me to create a product collection, and uh, I went to their facility here in the UK and saw them printed and stuff. Actually, got a few of the shirts here. You can maybe see a couple of the prints on my wall behind me as well if you look right there. So, just wanted to share some of the stuff I've been working on recently. As you can see, most of my designs and my ideas I try to find a relationship between something that people are going to recognize, right? So this one's friendly neighborhood Mothman instead of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This one's peace, love, and happiness, so that's a pun on the Loch Ness monster, happiness. Big yikes, for Bigfoot. And then we did this one as well, support your local cryptid. Playing on that, support your local X, support your local something. So I try to do, designs and ideas that tap into things that people are going to recognize, that people have a reference point for. And that's really a shortcut. It's a top tip, whatever you want to call it. It's a way for you to leapfrog and stand on the shoulders of giants, if you like. If you like, not you don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. You want to tap into things that people are going to recognize. And jokes are like that. Jokes can be broken down. Jokes can be reverse engineered, and you can figure out what makes them tick. And then you can kind of plug in your topic, your subject, whatever it is, into existing frameworks like these. So I'll talk a little bit about that later and share some more about that. But one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about today is this position we find ourselves in as independent designers. Obviously, I don't know everyone's background here. I think we've got about 120 people or something on right now, which is awesome. Some of you may be freelance designers. Some of you might be doing this as a side hustle. Some of you will be doing it successfully. You'll have an Etsy store, or you'll be selling on print on demand. Maybe you have your own Shopify store. Whatever it is, I think the one thing that we all recognize is we need ideas. We need to turn them into designs, and hopefully, what I can explain and help you with is how to think about ideas so that you can come up with better ones and come up with more of them, and do it more reliably, consistently, so that it's easier for you to churn out your designs and to get your work out there and to make sales from it. So last week I shared this meme on Twitter. I made this meme and sent it in my newsletter as well. I'll just explain it if it seems a bit confusing. But this guy's saying, "I sell T-shirts online." So this is someone who sells T-shirts online. AI is coming along and laughing. Redbubble and TeePublic fees are then joining in, and then they're both kicking the pudding out of this poor guy down here. So this is just to kind of illustrate some of the changes that seem to be going on right now in the world for designers and artists and illustrators, and t-shirt designers being one of those. AI is in particular text to image AI, so things like your Midjourneys and your your DALIs and all these kind of things that are happening, Stable Diffusion and others. They have obviously taken off in the past few months, and the technology is incredible. And I think a lot of designers are and illustrators are legitimately feeling like there's a genuine threat to their to their jobs, or to their value, to what they create and why, and to how they make money, basically. And then alongside that, we've had some other recent developments. We've had Redbubble and TeePublic increasing fees and instigating tiers, and essentially it feels a little bit like the tide's going out. That we've had it kind of easy for a while. We've had platforms that make it easy to sell, and all of a sudden we're getting kind of, we're getting knocked from all sides with a couple of different threats. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this today. I'm going to show you some stuff. I actually think, like, if you went back 6 months, I've been kind of tracking the AI art things for a couple of years now. I've seen it coming. I honestly didn't think it would develop as fast as it has, and I didn't think it would be able to do some of the things which it now can do. I was, a skeptic, I guess. I thought, there's no way it's ever going to be able to do professional looking illustrations. It's always going to need a human. But some of the stuff you're seeing people create now, it's blown that out of the water. So I hold my hands up. I was wrong. The AI is definitely here. It's definitely here to stay, and it can definitely do some of the things which seemed impossible even 6 or 9 months ago, or something like that. So I'm not saying that this isn't a genuine threat. What I am saying is there's actually a kind of light on the cloud, if you like, silver lining to it, and I think it's not all bad, but it does require a bit of adaptation, and especially it requires, guess what? Good ideas. It requires you to have something more than just the ability to create a design and to put a nice design together. So this slide here, this is just going to show you some of the stuff that, just to kind of prove my point, this is stuff from Midjourney, I think, to show you what the AI is capable of. So obviously this has all been created from a text prompt. Obviously this text is meaningless and doesn't make sense and doesn't work, but you can see the quality of the illustrations and the graphics, and you can see how this is going to be, even if it's not there quite yet, a lot of this would pass as a professionally designed t-shirt or logo or whatever. These are obviously kind of somewhere in between that space. They're not really t-shirts, they're kind of logos or whatever, but there's not a huge gap between those two. And over here as well, like I thought you'll never really get AI able to do kind of decent looking vectors, but it doesn't produce vectors, but it's producing stuff that you could quite easily transfer into a vector format. It convincingly looks like someone would have put that together in Illustrator or whatever. So yeah, the threat is real, especially if this is your bread and butter and you've been creating stuff like this. But like I said, it's not all bad news, and I'll explain why. Before we do, one of the real concepts I want to make sure everyone's clear on is this distinction between ideas and designs. When I say idea, what I'm talking about is a concept. So that could be a phrase, a funny phrase, could be a joke. It could be a concept for like a parody design or something like that. But it's basically the fuzzy idea in your head. It's what you're going to make a note of when you have that, that spark. The design is what you actually see. These are designs, but of course they needed some kind of idea, some kind of prompt to be given to the AI in order to create something. So that's what's always going to be needed. There's always going to be some concept needed. There's always going to be some kind of prompt, if you like, to use the current vernacular, in order to create designs. And I believe ideas are your advantage in this space, especially if you're creating designs for products. And there's a number of reasons for that. So ideas are your advantage because when anyone can create anything, when anyone can create a design from, couple of lines of text, from a couple of sentences describing what they want to see, then what advantage do you have as a designer? Relatively little. Okay, maybe you have a style that's better or more current, more trendy or original, but for a lot of products, for a lot of t-shirt designs, people aren't really buying for the aesthetics. They're not really buying for the look of the thing. I mean, that's important, but it's not really the motivator. The motivator is, what does the design say? What does it do? The joke. Why does it make me laugh? Or it's supporting a cause or something. That's what people buy. And they're not necessarily going to buy or not buy because your funny sloth looks a bit different from this funny sloth. Does that make sense? Like your graphics are not the linchpin that you might think they are. They're not the advantage in this space. It's the idea, the joke, the concept. That's what people are often buying. So it could be, and I think this is kind of where we're heading to, even if we're not there yet. The ideas are really the only advantage left for a lot of us designers, especially self-directed designers. How do we get a leg up over AI and all these other things that are coming down the tracks, if anyone can create the same thing I can create, and if it takes them 10 seconds and it takes me an hour? So ideas are an advantage. And the other reason why ideas are such an advantage is that if it's been done already, if something's already been done, if a concept's been created and a design is out there, then why would you want to do another version of that? This is never something I've never really understood. With a lot of some of the advice I see online and on YouTube and other places, people telling people to go and look at the best sellers and then to kind of do their own versions or their own spin on an existing design. Why would you want to do that? I'll just show you an example. Like over here, I just did a search on Redbubble for the phrase "ghouls just want to have fun." So that's the phrase. That's the kind of concept. And there's 538 results here, and you can see there's just probably 500 different ways of illustrating and putting together this design. Ghouls just want to have fun. Ghouls just want to have fun. Ghouls just want to have fun. Okay, so why would you want to come along and do a new version of this phrase? What advantage is there? How are you going to be able to get a leg up if you're doing the same phrases, the same concepts that everyone else is doing? I mean, you can't. You're competing with 538 people here on this one. That's a pretty low competition phrase for a lot of people. But there's no head start that you have. There's nothing you have that you can bring to that party. And you could say, well, I'm going to do my own illustration. I'm going to do my original take on it. I'm going to do my own drawing of a ghost. But there's 538 drawings of a ghost here. What do you think is going to give you an advantage in this space? Everything, there's a Pac-Man ghost, there's a realistic ghost, there's a detailed ghost, there's a Casper ghost. People are not scrolling through going, I'm going to pick, let me scroll through 5 pages of ghouls just want to have fun to find the perfect, to find the perfect ghost. That's not how it works. If you're not on the first page, you're probably not gonna make sales. So if it's been done already, why would you want to bother with that? Why would you want to go that route? You're basically making a rod for your back. It's hard. You're kicking against the goads, for another biblical application. So yeah, why bother with that? That's what I don't understand, and I'll show you how this applies in a couple of seconds here. With AI, what you've got coming is presumably more competition and lower barriers. If you go on YouTube and look for something like AI art or Midjourney or something, you'll see a lot of people saying, hey, generate images in Midjourney and whack them on print-on-demand sites. How to make $3,000 a day by typing sentences and then whip them over to Redbubble or Merch by Amazon or whatever it is. So presumably, and I think this is true, when you lower those barriers, when what used to cost $10 or $20 or $50 to get a designer to do something now is free, those barriers of entry are even lower, and so competition increases. So rather than just having 538 results here, you're going to have 1,000, 2,000, who knows. So yeah, you've just got more to compete with. So I think it is time for, especially if that's the kind of route you've been playing, if you've been trying to put your spin on existing designs and existing concepts, yeah, it's probably time to play a different game, and I'll explain what I mean. So, what do we mean by original? What does original mean in this context? And I can see there's a couple of questions coming in on a few different topics. I don't want to ignore those, so if you can kind of save them for the end, or I'll try and scroll back at the end. But I just want to kind of explain my concepts here while I'm kind of in the flow a bit, and then we can circle back on a few of those questions. So originality, what I mean by original is a few things. So I've got my my iPad here. Let me just pull this up. So a couple of examples of like what we might mean by original. So one thing we might mean is trade. If something been done before, then trademark is one thing. That's one kind of reference point that people use when they're trying to see if something has been done or already exists or something. Is there a trademark out there for that? So is there a trademark for ghouls just want to have fun, for example, or a phrase or a concept or a line? Obviously, if there is, then that's a big no for your design. If there's a trademark, then no. Another thing is, is there products around that concept or phrase? So, for example, there are phrases and jokes and puns that exist out there in the ether. They're on, Twitter and Google and stuff, but there's not many people doing t-shirts or products, and they've not kind of applied them in that space. So someone going looking for a product might not be able to find it because it doesn't exist. But then there's others. So for example, here, ghouls just want to have fun. That does exist. That's a t-shirt. So, if you do ghouls just want to have fun, you're competing against all these other t-shirts that already exist. So that's not really a great one. And then, like I just said, does it exist out there on places like Google or Twitter? A joke on the internet, if you like. And again, that's this is kind of like real danger zone, and over here would be this is kind of safe. So there's a lot of phrases and jokes that are on Twitter and that have been shared around, but they haven't made it over to t-shirts yet, and they certainly haven't been trademarked yet, and so they're really quite safe to use for your designs. So that's kind of what I mean by original. I'm not necessarily saying that everything has to come from within yourself and everything you create has to be not making a reference to anything or anyone, and it has to be your own individual character or anything like that. I'm just talking about doing things that are not done to death, essentially. So here are some of the pros of doing what I would call original work. Like, you have a blue ocean when you create that thing. Okay, so when you create when you work from a new joke or a new phrase and no one else has done it, you're in what's termed a blue ocean, which means there's no competition, right? If I do a new idea for a new joke, one of my, let's say what have we got here? Trying to find one of those new designs. So here we got the friendly neighborhood Mothman. Can you see that? There we go. There's the friendly neighborhood Mothman design. So I don't think that exists anywhere else. I'm pretty sure this is original kind of concept. So let's say someone sees me wearing this on the bus or the train or something, and then they go and Google it. Well, what are they going to find? They're going to find my design. There's no competition because it was my original design. So who's going to make the sales? Me. I'm going to make the sale because I'm the first one to it. So you've got that head start. That's the real advantage that you get. You get all of the sales because there's no competition. You have a head start. You can also take up all the real estate. So when I upload a new design and it's on Redbubble and it's on TeePublic and it's on Amazon and it's on Etsy and it's on my own website and I've got it on a tweet or whatever, all those results on Google, when someone goes looking for it, they're all my design, right? It's me all the way down. So I'm going to make the sale. It doesn't matter whether they click on Amazon or Redbubble or TeePublic. I'm going to end up making a royalty from it, more than likely, because there's very little competition. If you're creating original work, this is really how you build an audience as an artist, as a designer, as a brand. You can't really build a brand as a clothing brand, as an artist, by ripping off other people's work, by constantly doing stuff that already exists. It doesn't have the same impact that original stuff does. It doesn't connect. It's not as it doesn't engage as much. So creating stuff allows you and makes it easier for you to build an audience. And lastly, it is life affirming. Like if you're constantly looking at what's selling, if you're constantly doing your own spin on something that exists, if you're always copying others, it's a recipe for, like, I don't know, depression and sadness and gloom and doom, because you're not doing, you don't feel like you're doing something of your own that you've produced and that you brought value into the world. And I really think it is one of the best feelings in the world, when you come up with an original idea, when you turn it into a design, and then you post it on a website, and then someone buys it, and you don't know who they are, and you don't know why they bought it, and they're on the other side of the world. It's an incredible feeling. It really is, great that you've had an idea that no one else has had, and you've been able to, translate it from here into the computer, into the pixels, and then it's gone on a shirt and someone's wearing it on the other side of the world. And obviously it's great whenever you make a sale, but it's especially life affirming when you create something that's original, that you came up with, that gelled with you, that you really had no proof that it would ever sell, but then it does. It's a great feeling. So those are some of the pros of being original. And then the other part of it is not just, we don't just want original designs, as in this has not been done before, because, you could write gobbledygook and say, well, that's never been done before. Should I turn it into a design? No, we want original, good designs. And I believe there is such a thing as good designs, or such a thing as better designs and worse designs, such a thing as concepts which are more likely to sell than others. And yeah, this is a question that I've had before. This is a comment that came in from Tina, who said, how do you know when you have a good design idea, though? So often the designs I think will sell do not, and the ones I think will just sit there actually sell. And I think this is an experience that a lot of us have had, especially when you're creating original stuff. It happens to me all the time. We'll be sitting there, drawing the thing out, coloring it in, making the font look nice, and looking at it and thinking, this is the stupidest, most insane waste of time ever. No one's ever going to get this joke. No one's ever going to find it funny. This is stupid. Why am I doing this? And then a few days later it sells, and you feel like, you've broken out of the tomb on Easter Sunday. So, and then other times you'll be like, this is the best design I've ever had. This is incredible. This is going to go viral. This is going to take over the world. I'm going to be a millionaire by next Tuesday. And crickets, never makes a sale. So this is absolutely true, that you can't know ahead of time exactly what's going to sell and what isn't. The bad news is you don't know. The good news is that you don't have to know. You don't have to know what's going to sell before you create it. And the reason is that it is really the law of averages. So a few years ago, I remember listening to a podcast. I don't know how or why I was listening to this particular podcast. But the guy was talking about the law of averages. He was talking about how he was a salesman, and his first job was like knocking on doors, and how he would, I don't know what he was trying to sell, like life insurance or something like this, some horrible job like that. And so he would have to be knocking on doors, and it took him like 2 weeks until he realized something. And he would knock on a door, and then hello, how are you? And they'd like slam the door in your face and go on to the next door. Hello, how are you? And they'd slam the door in the face. Hello, how are you? My name's John. I'd like to talk to you about life insurance. No, thank you. And so he basically walked through like, you go through like 100 doors, like literally, you'd be knocking on every street, blah, 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 blah. And then finally, like on the 98th door, like you get a sale. Like someone would want to talk to you and they'd actually want to buy the thing. And yeah, I was just thinking about that, come in. And then, you make a sale. So this is obviously like, this isn't 100 different opportunities, but that's basically the idea. And it's that, you're not going to make a sale with everything you do, but if you keep at it and you have enough opportunities to make a sale, then you will make a sale sooner or later. Okay. So this whole thing about, how do you know if a design's going to sell or not? Well, you don't, but you don't have to, because not every design is going to sell. Like you're going to create this design, that one doesn't sell. I've got another idea, that one's never going to sell. I've created this one, and then we got a sale on that one. That's cool. This one didn't sell, and then that one, that's not really doing anything. That one's not doing anything. This one sold. That one's not doing anything. This one sold. And so this is what you find over time, and you get better. You increase your average over time, and then one day, you have one design that just goes berserk through the roof, and you have no idea. You couldn't really have predicted it, but it catches on because there's so many variables you can't control. And that's where the law of averages comes in. And I think if you can think like this, and I know it's not like a comfortable way to think, especially for designers and artists, because why would you want to spend time creating designs that are not necessarily going to sell? But you can't know, and you have to just create. You keep on creating, and you keep on putting stuff out there, and some designs sell and some designs don't, but you get better at understanding what sells over time. You get better at it. Your average goes up, and over time you're getting not 1 out of 10 sales, you're getting 2 out of 10 sales, and then you're getting 3 out of 10 sales, and so on and so forth. But you're never going to know exactly, but you can definitely increase your batting average, if that makes sense. So 2 mistakes that a lot of people are a lot of designers, I think, make in this space is not working on good concepts, and the other one is not creating enough designs. So I remember when I first started, I was thinking on Redbubble, I'm going to create 10 or 15 designs, and maybe I'll be making, a couple $100 a month, which was absolutely not correct at all. It was only when I got up to like 100 designs that I started making some kind of consistent, reliable income. So thinking too small is one problem, and then not working on good concepts is the other problem. So not working on good concepts, i.e. designs that are not necessarily likely to sell, and then not creating enough of those good concepts. And the secret really is volume. It's doing this over time, again and again, and just keeping on creating. It's keeping on putting stuff out there so that you can learn, over time what works and what doesn't. I just want to share this quote because this is kind of relevant and quite useful. This is from a guy called Dan Kennedy, who's a pretty prolific marketer. And he said, "You had better sustain a very serious commitment to maintaining, improving, enhancing, and strengthening your own ability to produce. Because in truth, it's all you've got and it's all you will ever have. Anything and everything else you see around you, you acquire and accumulate, you invest in, you trust in, can disappear in the blink of an eye." And this quote came back to me because, especially right now, we're seeing AI, we're seeing Redbubble, and things change. That's not to mention the economic ups and downs that we're seeing whether it's in the stock market or with central bank rates and potential recessions or whatever. Things are always changing, and what Dan's saying here is it can all change. Redbubble can pull your store tomorrow. Amazon can kick you off. Etsy can kick you off. Instagram can kick you off. Facebook can kick you off. AI can come and start drinking your milkshake and eating your lunch. So the only thing you really have that you'll always have if you cultivate it is your ability to produce, which basically means if I got kicked off Etsy tomorrow, I know that I have the skills to create something that people want to buy. So I can create those things and go and sell them somewhere else. and God forbid the internet came down or whatever, there's a market here in my town every other Sunday, and I could print some T-shirts and I could go down and sell them at the market, because I know that I can create designs and concepts that people really connect with and want to buy. So if you have that ability to produce, that's really, I mean, Dan's being pretty kind of apocalyptic here. I'm not saying that things are anything like that bad. I don't think they are, but I do think it's true that it's helpful to be reminded that your ability to come up with concepts, to come up with designs, to come up with ideas that connect with people is really incredibly valuable. Yes, your ability to design is valuable, but as we've seen, there are things that are going to come in and make that less valuable over time. And I think the ability to produce, and in particular to come up with ideas, is going to be that thing that sets some of the designers who are going to really win in the next 5 and 10 years from those who are going to be overcome and kind of taken over by some of this stuff. So just wanted to share that quote from Dan. So the other secret, like I said, one secret was volume. It's creating a lot of stuff that allows you to learn what works, and it also allows you to compete in and actually make a sustainable income. If you don't have enough designs, you can't really make consistent sales. But the other secret is simply not wasting time on unoriginal, done to death ideas, or ideas that are unlikely to do well. This is a problem that faces many designers. They're just wasting time. They don't know it, but they're working on concepts and ideas that are not really ever going to connect. And whether that's because the idea is unoriginal, or whether it's because the idea just isn't funny, or it just doesn't work, it just doesn't click, or it's turning people off in some way, whatever it might be, there's a few different reasons why an idea that you're working on might not be worth your time. There's lots of ideas that are just not, they're not good. They're not good ideas. They don't work, and you don't want to waste your time on those. This is an example. This is just showing you some examples of not just designs that work, but each of these designs represents a framework that works, which is to say, it's not just that this design is a good design. It may or may not be, but it's that this design represents something that is kind of proven to work when it comes to like products like T-shirts. So this one here, I'm only here for the pizza. That's like a funny phrase, but it's a phrase that is using a well-known kind of setup. This I'm only here for something. So I'm only here for the pizza in this example, but that could equally be I'm only here for the whatever it might be. I'm only here for the fries. I'm only here for the free Wi-Fi. I'm only here for whatever. So you can replace this and come up with an original concept, and you can produce an original concept using a reference that's already recognized. This one down here, the pause one, that's a parody. That's a parody of the Jaws poster. So again, that's a framework you can use. You can take an iconic image that people recognize, and you can put your own original spin on it. You can put a spin on it, referencing something that kind of works and fits within that iconic framework. Fries before guys, that's just a saying, that's just a phrase. But it has a couple of elements that are proven to work for stuff like this. It's a catchy slogan. It rhymes, fries before guys. If you can find rhyming phrases like that, if you can come up with rhyming phrases like that, then you can really, you can produce a lot of designs. You can produce these designs very quickly because this is very simple. So that's another framework you can follow. This is a kind of visual gag where you've got a T-Rex in a kind of 80s retro style. And again, that's a framework. You could say this is T-Rex, but that could be another dinosaur, could be another animal, could be a person, could be an object or something like that in a kind of 80s retro style. That's a concept. That's a framework. I am super mature. That's a pun. That's a play on words. Mature meaning, I'm grown up, versus mature meaning a mature cheese. Berry Christmas, that's a rhyming pun. So berry instead of Merry Christmas. Sasquatch, that's like an internal pun where the joke is kind of inside the phrase, like with Happy Ness, the Loch Ness monster. Sasquatch. And this one, I'm just here for the booze. Again, that's a play on words. That's booze instead of, instead of booze. That's two words that sound the same but aren't exactly the same. So all of these, just to give you an example of some of the frameworks. So don't look, I know you're going to look at the designs themselves, and they are good designs, but try and look behind the designs to the idea that's powering it and how you could come up with your own original, play on a similar concept. Like, I'm only here for the X. That's just one example of a plug-in phrase, of a fill in the blank phrase, which you can adapt. And if you can learn to kind of reverse engineer designs like this, then you basically have unlimited options. You don't have to worry about coming up with enough ideas. You'll just be constantly able to, like, produce idea after idea after idea. How are we doing for time here? We got about 20 minutes. I just wanted to share with you I want to leave you with at least like one concept you can follow here, which is like this one here. We talked about Berry Christmas instead of Merry Christmas. That's what I call a rhyme and replace pun, where there's a word that rhymes and it's replaced the word that you'd expect to see there. So berry instead of merry. And if you've not seen this before, this is a really quick way you can do this yourself. And I'll just walk you through an example here of how to come up with puns like this. So if you take a topic like sloths, what you want to do is come up with a word that's related to that. So we could pick a word like lazy. In this case, let's pick the word lazy. And then what we can do is head over to a site called Rhyme Zone, which is going to give you a list of rhyming words. Now, I'm not going to go there right now because we don't need to. We can just kind of pick one. So I'm going to choose the word crazy. So lazy rhymes with crazy. And then you can head over to another site. This is called the Free Dictionary, and that will list out idioms that feature, you can do a search for like idioms or well-known phrases. So I did a search on there, and I found this idiom, crazy about you. And that is how I came up with lazy about you. So I swapped crazy for lazy, swapped them around, replaced the rhyming word with the related word, and came up with lazy about you. And then that became this sloth related joke here. And this was, an original phrase. This hasn't been done before. And that's just one case. But you imagine if you can repeat this and do this over and over again with different words, with other words related to sloths, with other animals, with whatever your topic or niche or subject is, you can just churn these guys out, time and again. And you can do this on an individual basis with individual words. But there's actually what I've created. I've built a solution that actually allows me to do that en masse as well. And I'll show you that if we've got time. Let me quickly show you that. In fact, let me show you that. So over here, this is a software that I've built. This is called Ideally, and that concept I just showed you there, the lazy about you example, we can actually do it here inside the software. And what this is going to do is it's going to go and search through a load of idioms for me. So I don't have to go over to the website. I don't have to find a rhyming word. It's actually going to calculate rhyming words. It's going to go and put them into hundreds of different phrases, and it's going to come back with any results that it finds and list them out for me. So this is searching through currently like thousands of different results and things. And you can see here some of the results that it's come back with. Apologies for some of the bad language here, but we've got B word, be lazy. Damn, that's lazy. Lazy about you. So that's the one I used. Lazy cat lady. Lazy in love. Damn, that's lazy, bro. Don't call me lazy. And so on. And you can see what this is doing is it's just pulling lazy in red. That could be funny. It's pulling a load of idioms, and then it's just doing the work for us. So I don't have to do this individually every time. It's actually doing it for me. We've got some, we can kind of narrow this down if we want. We got some like memes that we can look at. We got song lyrics that it can pull from, and so on. So we've basically broken this down and made it really easy to come up with not just loads of ideas, but actually you can narrow down to specific ideas. So just wanted to show you that that example. That's something that's really interesting. and really useful when you need a lot of ideas, and not just a lot of ideas, but a lot of original ideas, i.e., ideas that haven't been done before. And then the final thing we can do here inside Ideally, I can save my ideas. I can save my favorites. So I just kind of favorite the ones I like. Let's go lazy, taking lazy pills. And these are all going to be saved over here inside my ideas folder. So you can see the ideas there that I've saved. They get saved in here. And then what this does, which allows me to check things that are original or not, you might be able to see, not sure how well you can see this on your screen, but we have different colors on these cards here. Some are yellow, some are green. And what that is telling me is which ones are original or not. So if it's green, like this one I saved yesterday, Rex rules everything around me. I thought that was pretty cool. Could do like a T-Rex illustration. So if I click this one, you'll see what's happened here is this has done a check across a few different places. So it's actually done a Google check and found that there's no results for that. So it's done a search on Google and found that there's no results on Google for that. It's done a product search on Google for like T-shirt, and it's found that there's nothing there. And then it's done a trademark check as well and found that there's no trademarks for it either. So it's come back green because that's completely good to go. See if I can find another example here that's not so good to go. So like this one here, Never Crit. So that one has passed the trademark check and it's passed the product check, but it's failed the unique check because there's about 5,000 results for Never Crit. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't do this design. There are a few products, but not that many. If we look at like shopping, we can see there's can't actually see any that say Never Crit. So it looks pretty good. So this just allows me to like really quickly see at a glance which of the ideas that I saved that kind of clicked with me might be a good fit for for turning into designs, so that I'm not wasting time working on stuff that's already been done or that has a trademark or that's been done to death in various other places, and I can just focus on doing original designs. So this is how I come up with loads of ideas, how I quickly save them, how I organize them, and then how I make sure that I'm working on stuff that's actually original rather than spending time working on stuff that's actually been done before. So like here, like Damn That's Lazy, that's past the check. You can see that's green. Lazy in Love is orange. Let's Go Lazy is orange. Taking Lazy Pills is green. So just wanted to share that with you. That's something we can do inside Ideally as well. Now, if you want more of this kind of content, if you want to be able to come up with ideas like that by yourself, then I just take a few minutes to tell you about the Ideas Workshop, which is my course which walks you through basically all my idea methods. So I shared with you there one method, the rhyme and replace method. I've actually got 14 other methods, 14 methods in total that I teach inside the Ideas Workshop, which is my course. And all of those are available inside, and I walk you through each one with detailed videos, over-the-shoulder how-tos. We got worksheets and class outlines as well for you to download, basically so you can learn how to become, able to produce ideas on demand. So you can hone that ability, your idea muscle, and basically churn out ideas and just keep going, just produce. Like Dan Kennedy said, you need that ability to produce. And so I teach you the methods that are going to help you do that inside the Ideas Workshop. The Ideas Workshop includes 12 months of Ideally, which is the software I've just showed you, unlimited for free. So Ideally is available on its own. It's a monthly subscription. It's $54 a month or $600 a year or something like that. So you get that for free inside the Ideas Workshop. So not only do you get the methods, not only do I teach you the methods that I have developed over many years, I also give you the tools so you can just really quickly come up with ideas. And I've just shown you one of the tools here inside Ideally. You can see down the side, we've got different modules to do different things to help come up with ideas in different ways. So that's included. And then I don't just leave you there. I also give you, we have minimum bi-weekly live calls. We're actually doing calls every week at the moment, but at least 2 calls a month where you can get direct help from me with your designs, with your brand, with whatever you're working on. We do, live Q&As. We set challenges. We're going to do some interviews with experts in the coming weeks as well. So it's not just, here's a load of stuff to learn, go and learn it. It's also hands-on, let me help you develop what you're working on and help improve your ideas as we go. A couple of bonuses as well that are included right now. The Total Trends Toolkit. So this is a class that I taught last year on how I spot trends and how I create designs for trends. So in particular, I give an example of a trend on Twitter that I spotted, which helped me come up with some original ideas that sold really well over the course of a week. And it's a real kind of deep dive case study into that over four live sessions that I taught. And then we've just finished a brand new class, 7-hour sessions on designing t-shirts the right way, where I walk through my design process. So not only how I come up with particular ideas, but how I then turn them into designs so that they look nice on t-shirts, so that they sell well and they do what they're supposed to do. So not just the idea side, but actually the design side. And there's a lot of detail we get into in that course, which is going to be a $200 course. Sold on its own shortly, but that's included for free inside the Ideas Workshop right now. So if you are interested, everything inside the Ideas Workshop, the course itself, which is $549 value, the Ideally Unlimited account, which is a $648 value, the bi-weekly live calls, which I can't really put a price on. How could you put a price on talking to me every other week? You might want to pay not to do that, but the Total Trends Toolkit, which is a $200 course, designing t-shirts the right way, which will soon be a $200 course, the private community. Total value is well over $1,000, and I'm not including some of the other bonuses, which I just don't have time to talk about. So all of that, you can get access to it today. The doors are open on the Ideas Workshop right now, and it's just $549. It is a subscription, so it's an annual subscription, and you can sign up at michaelessick.com/workshop. And during your time as a member, you get access to all the future updates, all the new classes, replays of all our live sessions, unlimited access to the software, to all the sessions. You lock in your price. So this price is subject to going up in the future. So you lock that in. And you also have 14 days to try it out and see if it's right for you. And you can get a full refund if you feel like it's not right for you as well. So if you're interested, michaelessick.com/workshop. You can find out more there. And I'll leave this up on the screen here while I answer some questions. But if you've got any questions about the workshop, I'd be happy to take them. But you can find out more on my website or at michaelessick.com/workshop. Now, we've got about 10 minutes, I think, for questions, and I can answer a few of those now. So I'll start scrolling back. But if you've got any questions you want me to tackle, just let me know. Leia said, is there a way to get access to Ideally without signing up for the Ideas Workshop? Yes, there is, Leia. You can go to ideally.app, and that will take you to our website for Ideally. And it is available as a standalone SaaS subscription. You get full access for that, and it's $54 a month if you want to pay monthly. Or if you want to pay annually, I think it's equivalent to $46 a month. So yes, you can sign up there. That's a monthly subscription. You can read a bit more about it there on the website. But yes, it is going to be $54 a month monthly subscription, and obviously that just gets you access to the software, not to the course or any of the bonuses or anything like that. Sarah said it checked those fast. Yeah. Basically, when you save an idea in Ideally, it immediately goes and searches that phrase to check the trademark, to check whether it's original, and brings back that data really quickly. So yeah, it is. It's really fast on stuff like that. Valentina, what if your stuff isn't even being viewed in the first place? I searched the exact phrase I used on a design of mine, but it didn't come up on any search engine. That's a good question, Valentina. What I would say is that sometimes it does take a while for phrases to kind of get bedded in. This is why I like to upload my designs on several different platforms, because if it doesn't get indexed quickly on one, it might get indexed quickly on another. So yeah, I would never rely on like one site. There's so many moving variables in this space, that I really would recommend that you upload it on several different platforms so that you maximize your chances. And also, it just can take Google a while to like index stuff. And I think if you have it on a few different platforms, that increases the chances that Google kind of recognizes that as a phrase that people are searching for, and then it will bring that back. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing to say is that, of course, volume, right? Going back to my point, you need a lot of designs. You are going to create some designs which are just not going to be found. Even if someone was searching for them, there'd just be some hiccup in the way that means that design is lost in the mix or something like that. So yeah, some designs are just going to fall by the wayside. Can't really help that with everyone, but by creating a lot of designs, you're just making it much more likely that you are going to make sales, and you can kind of figure out your average kind of hit rate a bit quicker. Windsorpedia says, how impressed were you with Printful in the UK? I was very impressed. I think I've got a video coming out on their channel tomorrow. I'm doing a live stream with them on Monday as well. Lost in the source, yeah. But yeah, the quality of the prints is really good. They've always been, really good with quality. Printful. They are on the more expensive side. I think they've lowered their prices recently, but yeah, the prints look great. The quality control is really good, especially in the UK. So yeah, I mean, we use them for a lot of our stores anyway. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to recommend them, and I do recommend them on my website, and I have a big review of them on there as well if you want to check that out. Okay, I'm scrolling back and looking at other questions, but if you've got any questions, now is the time. We've got about 5 minutes here. We can go. Carsten, does ideally work with other languages, German, for example? Currently, no. Currently, these are all English phrases that we have. We have all English idioms, English plug-in phrases and references. Maybe I think the difficulty is it's difficult to know whether a phrase translates into German. Like, obviously, we could kind of do bulk translation relatively straightforwardly, but I'm not sure whether that would work so well, not being a German speaker. And I imagine there's lots of German phrases and colloquialisms and sayings, which obviously I don't have an understanding of, sadly, not being a lazy Englishman who has only learnt one language in his life. I did learn Spanish for a bit, but I failed pretty badly at that. So yeah, not the best. So yeah, currently English only, but of course you can translate these yourself if you wanted to. You can use a lot of the tools out there to help you with that. Valentina says, thank you. No problem, Valentina. Amy said, I got your t-shirt book, but I was unsure which one to get first. Yeah, if you're interested in the books that I offer, I think the Little Book of T-Shirt Ideas is a really good introduction. That's this one here. That's a good introduction into kind of how I think about idea generation and some of the concepts and stuff. And then Create Designs That Sell. This bundle is a bit more detailed and covers a lot more ground. So yeah, I'd probably start with the Little Book of T-Shirt Ideas. Windsorpedia says, do you think the recent fee changes on Redbubble and TeePublic will ultimately be a good thing, or blatant profiteering? Long term, I'm inclined to think they will be a largely positive thing. I don't know whether it's connected with this recent changes, but I've seen an uptick in my Redbubble sales over the past few weeks. I don't know whether that's related to what's been happening. I do think that, I think it's basically a cash grab from Redbubble and TeePublic. They're trying to shore up their reserves. They're trying to establish profitability or whatever. And I think it's, not great. But I do think in the long term, I think it bodes well for designers like us who are original, who are creating stuff that does come from an original place, that are not just kind of spamming and doing, AI or whatever it might be, people who are doing original stuff, trying to help people solve problems with original designs. So I think in the long term it could be a good thing, but definitely it's. I don't think. I think profiteer, maybe not profiteering, but certainly it's a grab for cash, and it's a danger that you have when you're selling on a platform that you don't control. So yeah, there's not a lot we can do about it. You know, um, I've been fortunate that I've come out the other side okay. I've got the pro tiers or whatever it is, and I think if you're a designer in that space, you have a much better opportunity now, or at least you're getting the indication from these platforms that hey, we want to work with people like this. We want to work with people who are doing original stuff that's high quality, that's professional, that's on trend. Um, People who have good ideas. We don't want to do people who are doing the same old things over and over again. So yeah, hope that helps. Okay, I'm just scrolling through, looking if there's any questions I've missed. Nina said, "Do you copyright all your designs or just the bestsellers?" Well, copyright actually is automatic. You don't have to register the copyright for you to own the copyright. I have never registered the copyright for any of my designs. It's simply not economical for me to do so because I create quite a lot of designs and I can't copyright them all because it costs money to do that with trademark offices and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't do that myself because I'm kind of more focused on the next design and keep on creating. That's kind of the way I think it's helpful to think, is just keep on going, create more stuff. Don't worry too much about copycats and stuff. Obviously, deal with them when they come up, but don't obsess about that stuff as much as you possibly can. Jeffrey, what's the best route in outsourcing and finding good freelance designers for my ideas? Don't know. I mean, I've found designers on platforms like Dribbble and Behance and 99 Designs and places like that. I think if you know what you're looking for, it took me a good couple of weeks to find designers to work with. Obviously, I can design myself, and I do the bulk of the designing now. But yeah, for a while there, a few years ago, I did have a couple of designers I worked with weekly, and I think it's just a case of doing your due diligence and testing them out. And I don't think there's a guaranteed route, and I think it really depends on what kind of artwork you're looking for, what kind of relationship you're looking to build. Yeah. So 99 Designs, Dribbble, Behance, those are places I've used, but that's going back a few years now. So I don't really know because I've not really been in the market for designers recently. Yeah. Okay. If you've got a question that I haven't answered, Windowpedia said, did you see Adobe Firefly AI? They're going to have a text to vector option. Crazy fast development. Yes, I did see that. I was actually at the Adobe event in London a couple of weeks ago, and they showed some of the new features and stuff. Yeah, it is incredible, and I do think the AI stuff is going so fast. I mean, just one example here. This is a new model called Deep Floyd. I think I shared a link with this recently in my newsletter, but this is pretty good at doing the text thing. So this is my prompt I've given it: T-shirt design of a sloth with the text "lazy about you." And I mean, look at it. Well, okay, that's not right. And but this one, I'm just going to click upscale on this one here. This is the future. I mean, by that I mean this is what's coming. Okay, this says lazy abound you, but I mean this is pretty incredible. This is almost there, and it's going to be weeks, months, hours at the rate this is going before we see people able to produce passable quality designs. I think text and graphics together pretty quickly, and just more evidence that you need original ideas. You need to be able to have the right prompt to put in here in the first place. Otherwise, if you're relying on your design skills, not saying obviously that this is good, it's not good design, but it's certainly getting there, and I think it won't be long before that's a legitimate threat to a lot of designers. So, not seeing any last minute questions there, so I think we can round it up. If you'd like to develop your own ideas ability, if you'd like me to teach you my methods, if you'd like me to give you my tools and resources, if you'd like me to help you directly with whatever you're working on with your designs, to help you produce and really have that ability to produce over and over again, then join us inside the Ideas Workshop. You can sign up at michaellessick.com/workshop. It's just $549 for a 12-month membership, and you're saving like well over like $500 there if you sign up today. I'll be sharing more some of the new features obviously in the coming weeks and months ahead, but if you want to be included and you want to see everything and you want instant access to it all, including some of the incredible idea tools that we're developing inside Ideally, then this is the time to do it. michaellessick.com/workshop. And if you've got any further questions that I can help you with, you can email me, michael@michaellessick.com. But I think we can leave it there for today. So thank you for joining me, everyone. Hope you got something out of this session today. I will be doing another live stream next week, so keep an eye on your email inbox for details about that. And again, if you've got any questions, anything I can help you with, michael@michaellessick.com, and I'll do my best to get back to you promptly. So I'll leave it there for today. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Keep an eye on your inbox. I'll be there tomorrow. And yeah, I'll send you more details about our next live session as well. All right. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon. Any questions, michael@michaellessick.com. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.